You've probably seen it. A dog on the side of the road, looking so thin, so lost, and just alone. Your heart breaks, right? You stop, you slowly offer some food, but instead of coming closer, it just flinches and backs away. Have you ever been in that moment and just wondered what is going on inside that dog's head? It's one of the most confusing, heartbreaking things. Well, today we're going to try to get inside that unseen world and figure out this puzzle. Wow. This quote from a rescuer, it just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? That deep stillness. It's about so much more than just being hungry. This isn't just a dog waiting for a meal. This is a soul that has basically learned not to hope for kindness. That silence, that frozen posture. You gotta understand, that's a shield. It's a wall built from a past we can't even begin to imagine. So, this is the big question, right? It seems to go against every law of nature. I mean, hunger is one of the most powerful drives there is. So, what on earth could possibly be stronger than that? To get the answer, we have to look deeper. We have to look inside the canine brain, where the ancient rules of survival are absolute. To really get what's happening, we need to see the internal battle that's raging in that exact moment. It's this clash between two of the most powerful instincts you can imagine playing out as a painful paradox right there on the side of the road. Okay, so here's the key. The brain has a strict, non-negotiable hierarchy of needs, and avoiding what it thinks is an immediate threat will always win against satisfying hunger. Always. Think of it this way. If the fire alarm goes off while you're sitting down to dinner, you don't finish your steak, you get out, right? Your brain is screaming, danger now, way louder than it's whispering, I'm hungry. For that dog, a big human approaching is the fire alarm. Safety first. Food is a distant second. And the part of the brain making this split-second call is called the amygdala. You can just think of it as the brain's super sensitive alarm system or its bodyguard. It doesn't do logic, it's all instinct. And here's the really critical part. The amygdala also slaps these powerful emotional tags on memories. So when it sees a threat, it smashes the panic button, reacting not just to what's happening now, but to every scary thing that's ever happened in the past, all before the logical part of the brain even has a chance to process the smell of food. And when that panic button gets hit, it unleashes this whole symphony of survival. It's the classic fight, flight, or freeze response. A chemical cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol floods the dog's system. The heart starts pounding, muscles get tense, and any system that isn't absolutely essential for survival, like digestion, just shuts right down. The dog's entire body is preparing for a life-or-death struggle. In that state, eating isn't just a low priority, it's biologically impossible. But for so many of these dogs, this isn't just a one-time scare. It's become their whole reality. That alarm system we just talked about, it hasn't just been triggered, it's been totally rewired by a history of pain. So now we're moving past pure instinct and into the deep, lasting echoes of trauma. You know, a dog's entire view of the world is often set by this little biological clock. There's this incredibly important window from about 3 to 14 weeks old, where a puppy's brain is just like a sponge, soaking up everything about what's safe and what isn't. If they have good experiences with people then, they learn we're a source of comfort. But what if they miss that window? The result is huge, and it can last a lifetime. Without that positive wiring early on, their brain's default setting becomes a fear of anything new. So a helping hand isn't seen as help, it's just another unknown, which means it's another threat. Now, what's really incredible is how a life of constant hardship can look a lot like complex trauma in humans. Many rescued strays show clear signs of what you could call canine CPTSD. I remember reading about this one rescue who spent her first year just surviving on the streets. Even when she was finally in a safe, quiet home, she could never ever relax. Every time a pan dropped, it was like the world was ending. She'd just press herself into corners, trying to become invisible. That's hypervigilance. Her brain was just stuck in survival mode 24/7, always waiting for the next bad thing to happen. And when that trauma just never ends, something even more tragic can happen. Learned helplessness. It's like, imagine if you applied for 100 jobs and got rejected every single time. Eventually, you might just stop trying. You've learned that nothing you do makes a difference. It's the same for a dog that's been chased or hurt or abandoned over and over again. They learn that nothing they do changes the outcome. So they stop doing anything. They just shut down. And this is one of the biggest, most tragic misunderstandings out there. We might look at a dog that's really still and quiet and think, oh, he's so calm. But we have to look closer. A truly relaxed dog is soft, Their body's fluid, they're aware. A shutdown dog is a statue. Their body is rigid, or sometimes it's even weirdly limp. Their eyes look vacant. They're just not there. This isn't peace, it's the complete absence of hope. It's an animal that's retreated so far inside itself, it's almost a ghost. So, on top of all of this, the biology of fear, the history of trauma, it's all made 10 times more complicated by one simple fact. We and dogs don't speak the same language. So how do we even begin to bridge that gap? Well, it starts by realizing that our best intentions, our kindest signals, are often getting totally lost in translation. Let's take direct eye contact. In our world, we look people in the eyes to show we're listening, to show trust. But in the dog world, a direct, hard stare is often a confrontation. It's a challenge. It's asking, who's the boss here? So while you're trying to say, I'm a friend, the dog might be hearing, I am a threat. Or think about a simple human smile. What do? We pull our lips back and show our teeth to signal we're happy and friendly. But to a dog, that exact same motion, baring your teeth, is a classic warning sign. It's showing off your weapons. So our warm hello can look an awful lot like a tense back off. And finally, our instinct to help usually involves leaning forward and reaching down. I want you to just picture for a second what that feels like from their perspective, low to the ground. Imagine a giant, strange creature looming over you, blocking your escape, casting a shadow. All of a sudden, you feel trapped. That posture that we mean to be gentle feels exactly like a predator cornering its prey. So, okay, now that we understand the deep-rooted reasons for all this fear, the million-dollar question is, what can we do about it? How do we get through this wall of instinct and trauma? It's time to learn how to build a bridge, one really small, quiet step at a time. The first step, funny enough, is to fight our own human instincts and stop doing all the things that feel natural. Making direct eye contact? We just saw that's a challenge. Walking right at them, or worse, chasing them? That just confirms you're a threat. Calling out to them? You're just adding a scary noise to an already terrifying picture. And reaching your hand over their head? That's the ultimate trapping move, coming right out of their blind spot. Every one of these well-meaning actions just screams danger. Instead, we have to learn their language of peace, what experts call calming signals. So instead of facing them head-on, I turn my body to the side, making myself smaller, less threatening. I look away, breaking that intense stare. I might even do a big, slow yawn or lick my lips. These are all signals dogs use with each other to say, hey, everything's cool. Every movement has to be slow and deliberate. You're finally communicating in a way their instincts can understand. I am not a threat, I mean you no harm. But this is the most powerful idea behind all of it. By not forcing it, by sitting sideways and letting the dog decide if it wants to come closer, you're giving it something it probably lost a long, long time ago. A choice. You are giving it back its sense of control. And that right there is the direct antidote to learned helplessness. That is so important, I have to say it again. Restoring their sense of control is the antidote to learned helplessness. You're showing them, maybe for the very first time, that their choices actually matter. And this all leads to a really profound shift in how we see these animals. It's a philosophy that people in the field call trauma-informed care, and it's summed up perfectly by this thought. Instead of asking what is wrong with you, we have to ask what happened to you. Just let that sink in for a second. The behavior we're seeing isn't a flaw in the dog, it's an adaptation. It's the scar from a wound that we can't see. Which brings us right back to where we started, to that silent dog on the roadside, the one who seemed to understand that no one was coming. Understanding why a stray is afraid is so much more than a behavior lesson. It's a call for a much deeper kind of empathy. It asks us to be patient enough and quiet enough and trustworthy enough to challenge everything their painful past has taught them. So the final question isn't just about whether they can learn to trust again. It's about whether we can learn to be the safe harbor they've already given up looking for.